If you've ever thought your family had drama, siblings arguing over the last slice of pizza, cousins not speaking after a birthday party gone wrong, let me reassure you, the Windsors, in this fictional universe, beat everyone. By a landslide, possibly by several generations. Because nothing, and I mean nothing, could have prepared the world for what Princess and revealed that cold, foggy evening outside Balmoral Castle. Her voice was tight, her expression unshakable, and her words? Before we continue, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for updates. The king's final wish is for Harry to reconcile with us, and for him to take the throne. Yes, you read that correctly. Not William, not the heir, not the steady, dependable, already groomed Prince of Wales. No, in this fictional story, King Charles, sick, exhausted, fading, lying in a quiet room while doctors whisper in hallways, suddenly drops a royal grenade. He wants Harry back, and he wants him crowned. And the reaction? Stunned silence. A nation in disbelief. And two brothers, once inseparable, then divided, frozen in shock. You can almost hear the record scratch from here. But how did we get here? Why now? Why Harry? Why this final wish? Let's unravel the drama, the emotions, the hidden conversations, and the unexpected twist that brought us to the king's shocking request. Grab a cup of tea or something stronger. You're going to need it. You know when life throws you a curveball at the exact moment you least expect it? Like when your phone dies right before you pay for parking, or when your boss calls you into a meeting at 8:59 a.m. Well, that's exactly what the fictional United Kingdom experienced when news leaked that King Charles had been taken to his medical suite at Balmoral. Not rushed. Not emergency lights and sirens, but quietly, too quietly, royal insiders whispered phrases like fatigue, extended monitoring, complications, limited mobility. The palace, naturally, gave their classic five-word, almost emotionless update. The king continues to rest. Translation? Something was wrong, and the tension grew thicker by the day. Crowds gathered. Reporters camped. Phones buzzed. Social feeds exploded. People weren't just concerned, they were scared. Because when a monarch grows weak, the nation feels it like an aftershock. But behind those castle walls, a completely different emotional earthquake was brewing. Family members were arriving. William, firstborn, future king, landed first. And arrived next, calm but firm. Camilla followed, masking worry with poise. Even Princess Eugenie flew in quietly. And then the big question started spreading like wildfire. Would Harry come? In this fictional world, the tension was unbearable. Every camera pointed. Every reporter speculated. And the palace, usually so tight-lipped, was strangely silent. Why? Because something far bigger was about to happen. Something that would flip the entire royal succession upside down. But not before Princess Anne spoke the words that stopped William cold. Of all the people Charles could have entrusted with his final wish, Princess Anne was by far the most unexpected choice. Not because she isn't loyal. She's arguably the most dependable Windsor in every fictional storyline. Not because she isn't trustworthy and is practically the palace's human vault, but because she's blunt, direct, undiluted truth, straight up, no sugar, which made her the only person who could deliver the king's shocking message without trembling. When she walked out of the king's room, her expression was unreadable, stone-faced, but with a glimmer of something behind her eyes. Pain, determination, shock, maybe all three. William approached her first. How is he? He asked, and didn't answer immediately. Her throat tightened. Her silence said everything. So when she finally spoke, her voice was low. We need to talk in private. Even William felt his stomach drop. Inside the quiet sitting room, and didn't pace. She didn't stall. She didn't soften the blow. She said it quickly, clearly. Charles has made a final request, one that affects all of us. William nodded, bracing himself. It's Harry, she continued. What about him? William asked, confusion flooding his face. The king wants him back, and said. His wish is for Harry to reconcile with the family. William blinked. That's all, he said slowly, and hesitated. Then, no, he wants Harry to be king. Silence. You could have heard a teacup drop in London from Balmoral. William shook his head, stunned. That's not possible, he whispered. But, and didn't blink. It's his wish. And that's when William realized this wasn't palace gossip. This wasn't Anne's opinion. This wasn't speculation. Charles had made a choice William never, ever saw coming. But the real shock? Harry hadn't even arrived yet. So how would he react? Let's just say, no one was ready for that moment. When Harry arrived at Balmoral in this fictional drama universe, it wasn't glamorous. No motorcade, no red carpet, no cheering crowds. Just a man stepping out of a car, shoulders tense, eyes tired, carrying the weight of years of conflict in his stride. Even the air around the castle felt heavier, as though it knew history was about to shift. Reporters whispered, "Look at his face. He's nervous. Is he crying?" Inside the castle, William stood by the staircase as Harry walked in. The tension between them? Electric, unspoken, painful. This wasn't just two brothers. This was a broken bond, scarred by interviews, memoirs, side comments, misunderstandings, resentment, silence. But when their eyes met, something softened. For one brief moment, the past didn't matter. Anne approached quietly. "Harry," she said, "your father wants to see you." Harry swallowed hard. "How is he?" And looked away. "He's weaker today." Harry nodded and followed her down the long hallway, one he hadn't walked in what felt like a lifetime. Inside the king's room, the lights were dim. The air smelled like antiseptic and lavender. Charles looked pale, thinner, fragile. But when he opened his eyes and saw Harry, he smiled. A small, weak smile, but a smile all the same. "Pa," Harry whispered. Charles reached out his hand. "Come closer, my boy." It was a moment heavy enough to silence even the loudest critics. But then Charles said the words that made Harry freeze in place. "Harry, I need you to listen. It's about the future. Your future." And that's where everything changed. King Charles waited until the room was empty. No doctors, no aides, no advisors. Just him. And Harry. His voice was frail, breaking on every few words. "One day soon, the country will need a king." Harry shook his head immediately. "Pa, no." "William." "No," Charles whispered. "This isn't about tradition. It's about the soul of the monarchy." Harry exhaled slowly. "We both know I'm not the man for that. Not after everything that's happened." Charles squeezed his hand. "That's why you are the man for it." Harry blinked, stunned. Charles continued. "You know what it's like outside these walls. You know what the public feels. You know the pain of being misunderstood. You know the cost of duty. You know the importance of truth. And you know the power of compassion." Harry swallowed. "I left for a reason," he said. "And you can return for a greater one," Charles whispered. Then, with a shaky breath, Charles said the line that would echo through every royal wall. "My final wish is for you to reconcile with this family, and to take your place as king." Harry froze. He couldn't move, couldn't breathe. His heart felt too heavy for his chest. "But what about William?" he whispered. Charles closed his eyes. "Talk to him. You'll understand." And with that, the king drifted back into sleep. The room went silent, and Harry was left standing in the middle of the storm, knowing he had just been handed the impossible. If you've ever walked into a conversation knowing you're carrying a bomb that could explode at any moment, congratulations. You know exactly how Harry felt approaching William in this fictional scene. William was standing by the window, arms crossed, staring into the Scottish wilderness. "I spoke to him," Harry said quietly. William didn't turn. "I know," he replied. There was a long pause, long enough for years of pain to hang in the air between them. Finally, William spoke. "He told me his wish." Harry nodded, bracing himself. "I'm not taking your place, William," he said immediately. "I'm not doing this." William turned slowly, and to Harry's shock, he wasn't angry. He wasn't jealous. He wasn't resentful. He just looked tired. "Harry," William said softly, "this isn't about me." Harry stepped closer. "Of course it is. You've trained for this your whole life." William shook his head. "Pa believes the monarchy needs something different now. Someone who understands the world in a new way." Harry's face tensed. "And you agree with that?" William hesitated, and then hesitated a little more. "Maybe he's right," William admitted. Harry blinked. "What?" William exhaled deeply, rubbing his eyes. "I've been holding this institution together for years, doing everything right, playing every part, and somehow it still isn't enough." Harry stepped forward. "William, it's not that I don't want the job," William said. "It's that I'm not sure I'm the one who can fix it." Harry's chest tightened. You're the only one who can. William shook his head. No, I'm the one everyone expects. That's different. Silence. A heavy, emotional silence. Then William looked directly into his brother's eyes. If Pa wants you back, I won't stand in the way, but it has to be your decision. Not guilt. Not pressure. Yours. Harry swallowed hard. He had run from the crown his entire life. And now the crown was chasing him. But the real question was, would he let it catch him? While Harry and William navigated their emotional collision, Princess and stepped forward with the final piece of the puzzle. Over tea, because drama must always be served with Earl Grey, she revealed what Charles had told her privately. Your father believes the monarchy is facing its greatest crisis, and said. Harry listened intently. He thinks the institution has lost its connection to the younger generation, she continued. He thinks people trust authenticity more than tradition now. Harry frowned. So he thinks I'm authentic? His voice was half joking, half fractured, and didn't smile. You've lived outside these walls, she said. You've seen what we couldn't. You've spoken truths we were too afraid to acknowledge. You broke away. And because of that, whether we like it or not, you understand what needs to change. Harry exhaled, overwhelmed. And you think I should be king? He asked. And shook her head. That's not for me to decide, she said. But I know this. Your father didn't ask for much in his life. And this was his final wish. Harry looked down. And just like that, the weight of destiny, which he had avoided his whole life, settled on his shoulders. News began leaking, quiet at first, then roaring across media like a wildfire. King Charles's shocking sickbed wish. Harry to return? Succession twist incoming? Where does William stand? People panicked. People cried. People celebrated. People argued. The monarchy had never faced a crisis of identity quite like this. And no one knew what Harry would decide. Not William. Not Anne. Not the advisors. Not the country. Not even Harry himself. But here's where the story takes its most emotional turn. Harry asked to see his father again, one last time. He knelt beside the bed, held Charles's hand gently, and whispered, I'll make peace. I promise you that. But the crown. I need more time. And though Charles didn't wake, he smiled. A small, peaceful smile. Almost as if he heard. Almost as if he understood. Almost as if that was enough. So here we are, at the crossroads of legacy, duty, family, forgiveness, and destiny. In this fictional universe, King Charles made a shocking wish. Princess and delivered it. William faced it with grace. Harry confronted it with doubt, fear, courage, and heart. And the question that lingers now is the question that defines not just the monarchy, but every human life. What do we owe to our past? What do we owe to our family? What do we owe to ourselves? If you were Harry, what would you do? Would you take the crown? Would you reconcile? Would you return to the life you left? Would you honor your father's final request? Or would you choose your own path?